Guys, welcome to episode on a serious note. I saw something quite interesting on Friday. An article about a young guy who's a law graduate was unable to get a job in the law sector, and then he ventured into fish farming, which is a good thing. And he's setting up his ponds. I think they're halfway there, and he's doing well, and I'm proud of him. But it brings me back to one of the most contentious issues I have. A couple of years ago, I attended Namibia Bosmara Farmers Day. And I spoke to the lecturer of this institution. And I asked this lecturer, how many students do you have here? She told me there are 300 students. And I asked her, my lecturer, out of this 300 students, how many of them are going to venture into agriculture? How many of them are going to go this that you guys, the 3, 4, 5 years you guys are teaching them, that are learning animal science, animal health, animal nutrition, and animal husbandry? How many of them will be able to go, after they are done, they have obtained a graduation paper, to go and plow these skills back into the sector? She said, not many of them. What's going to happen is, many of them are going to work in a different sector, maybe go become teachers, get into the financial sector, get a job at the bank, get a job somewhere, I don't know, in the retail spaces, and then they'll come back and plow those skills back into the agricultural sector. That is the problem that we have, and I think that's why Namibia's agriculture doesn't grow. But then another thing that one has to look at the Namibian agricultural sector is also the lack of funding. How difficult it is to obtain money to do agricultural projects. I have people today that have big maize fields that produce close to 100 bags of maize in the northern communal, small scale guys and ladies, but are unable to be able to put up irrigation systems. My aunt, who I interviewed on this platform, runs a nursery which she calls Yambezi Foods, where she produces strawberries, papayas, and other vegetables. She says that her biggest headache is water. Obtaining money to buy an irrigation system is expensive. These are the type of things that we are unable to get so we can be able to build something good. I said it that a while back. I've been saying it for a time that the biggest failure of the agricultural sector in Namibia is not the lack of people or the lack of people wanting to do what they want to do. It's the lack of being able to get access to funding. There are farmers in the north, there are farmers in the south, there are farmers in the west and the east who are getting little support. They are doing things on self. They either sell one goat, buy a bag of maize, plant some maize, they grow well, God willing, they get good rains. They take the maize, they harvest it, and then they sell it. They sell that bag of maize to be able to get money and to be able to reinvest it back into their farming, and they buy more goats. There are people who are living like that. But it's what I keep on asking to say. Agriculture, if you look at it from a stethoscope of business, in order for some businesses to grow and become bigger, better, and hire more people, they need more funding. The same thing with a farm. You can't just be on 100 hectares and you're just planting 100 hectares every year in, year out. You want at a point, you want to increase it, because agriculture is a numbers game. The more you plant, the more successful your harvests are, and the more successful you're able to harvest, the better it is for your business. So these are the things. So with what I was saying there about the students, is that many people who obtain these agricultural qualifications and are unable to get employment in the agricultural sector, they go on to do other things. They could be people being teachers right now, probably have qualifications in agriculture's degrees. There are people who are sitting probably in a bank at the teller and he has a degree in agriculture or a degree in a form of agriculture and he's not working in the sector. And then we go back and ask ourselves, but why is Namibia importing so much food? Because there's little opportunity. You move away from just farming and you go into the agri-processing. We are struggling. They ask things like collateral. I don't have. There are things such as collateral, which I don't have, number one. When I went to the bank recently to try and talk to them to see if I can get a loan, they were asking me things such as having a fixed asset that they can utilize as collateral for the bank, which I don't have. So that means because I am unable to fund this funding and fund this money, my businesses cannot end up becoming something real, to become something which is tangible and could actually hire close to 50 to 100 unemployed Namibians who are probably sitting at home with no opportunities. But that's my country, because the financial laws are a problem. I mean, the laws that govern our financial sector are a problem. I don't see how we're not able to change it, we were not able to change it, to be able to meet the requirements of today people. I unfortunately am birthed by people that come from a Bantustan or communal area. That land does not belong to my family. We are allowed to utilize it, but we don't have ownership of it the same way a person on the southern side who probably has a farm, private commercial land, has ownership of it. Mine is communal, under the custodian of a traditional headman, and then under the custodian of a king. And then on top of the king, there's the state, which means I can't go to the bank and say, I have 50 hectares, my father has given me 50 hectares, which is mine, and I want to be able to access a loan so I can buy small feed manufacturing equipment, or I can buy small slaughtering manufacturing equipment to set up my own abattoir, or buy a small space to set up a store, to set up my own store where we can buy things from local farmers and sell them to the people. Those things are not there, and it's a problem. I know one business mogul, Vusi Tembegwayo, is always speaking about how we should be able to raise funds through crowdfunding, or be able to raise funds from other people's money. But it's easier said than done, because again, there's the book Capitalist Nigger that talks about how us as the black race being so divided, being unable to work with each other, is part of the reason why so many great business ideas, so many great ideas on things never really come to fruition. Like I have tried, reached out to farmers, said, listen, I got this business idea and I'd love you guys to come on board and support me on it. And many of them don't sound convinced. Some of them are like, they don't want to come on board to be like, hey man, we like what you're doing, we see what you're doing, we're going to support you. They don't have that mindset. And I think that's where we fail. Because you look at a company like, let's say an abattoir, a private one, Beefco. How Beefco was set up was beside the young guys being able to raise these funds, which were probably assistance from family, friends, and their farming community that was able to raise the funds, help them raise the funds to set up the abattoir. That's how these people come together. Savannah Beef, another one, which I looked at, it was a bunch of commercial farmers that came together and were able to crowdfund, to put whatever they could give to be able to set up this abattoir. I believe they will start construction 2024 going to 2025. I think 2025 they'll start probably operations. But they're trying to source funding. We as people of this skin tone must learn to put aside our differences, learn to put aside our political, cultural, regional differences, and learn to come together. Because my biggest argument has been this. I am just 32. But I think I got an awakening to say, we cannot continuously just be producers. We need to start being players in the sector. How is it that 33 years of independence, we do not have, for example, a black-owned feed-making company? 33 years of independence, we do not have an abattoir that is slaughtering and processing beef at large numbers. 33 years of independence, we do not have a juice-making factory. 33 years of independence, we do not have a beer-making factory. We are just consuming. And that's where I want to come in. But what is my biggest hurdle? The biggest speed bump, the biggest pothole is the lack of funding, the lack of money. I don't have it. My parents would never allow me to put this up. This is their investment. My father says his house is his biggest investment. This is his life policy. he will not risk saying, go ahead, put it down as collateral and utilize it as collateral to be able to get your businesses going. And that's the problem. And there's a quote Robert Kiyosaki said, where he said, people need to stop working for money but start working for assets. Because at least an asset, a house or land in this case, land prices never really go through depression times. They mostly always go up. At least with that earth you bought, wherever you bought it. If my old man had that mindset to say, let me just be buying earths wherever. And one day when my children are of that age, it's theirs. I'll hand over, I'll put the things in their names and I'll give it to them. They can decide whatever they want to do with those earths. It would have made it easy. I could have been able to set up my businesses. And this is something that I keep on seeing with some of the white, the Asians, and some of the Arabs. This is how they operate. This is how these guys are able to set up businesses. You graduate with this guy, you finish high school with this guy. 2-3 years after high school, he's able to set up a business. He's able to set up a company. He's able to set up a shop. He's opened up a retail space. And you ask yourself, but what are you doing that we are not doing? And then you realize one thing. They have put money together. They have support in the community. Their parents were forward thinking to say, let's buy your property. You might not understand why we can't give you your best 18th birthday party, but we'll buy your property. Because that property of yours will be able probably to put you through uni or probably be able to help you be an asset that you could be able to get, start up a business with. Unfortunately, some of us, we're not Donald Trumps, we're not Bill Gates, we're not Elon Musks, who can get loans from their well-off parents who have accumulated success in life. We don't have that. We have to start from zero. And it's always a problem. So, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say here in this video is that let's move away from just being producers of things, but start being manufacturers of things. Or those ones who show the ideas that they want to move away from just being producers, they want to be manufacturers of things, let's support those ones. Let's support those ones. Because it's more of us. And maybe when we can start talking to more of us in this sector, we can get better things like better pricing of our livestock, better pricing of our fresh produces, better access to funding. Maybe those things can happen. But for as long as we are talking to people of a different tone, skin tone, they don't understand our struggles. Like, I like this quote, even though I'm going to talk about movies. There's this movie Denzel Washington made, which is called Colors. And then they asked him, Denzel, why did you get a black film director? Why could you not get a white film director? And he said, it is not a color thing. It is a cultural thing. Because when you talk about a hot comb, back in the day when many of our people would hot comb their afros to make them look very nice, black people can relate to the hot comb on a Sunday. They know the smell of burnt hair. When you say that to, for example, a white person, he does not understand that. When you talk of probably ox plows, plowing with oxen, the northern communal land people will understand that. But when you say that to a southern farmer, he might not understand what ox plow is. Or when you talk about the things that we experience in the northern areas, in our northern small-scale farming, the type of things we know and how we have to do our farming because of cultural methods, these guys might not understand it. So that's what I have to say in this video. I just want to say thank you very much to everybody who's been supporting me this long, who have been members of this channel. Even though people don't pay yet, I think we need to set up a Patreon page so you guys can help me out with some cashes there so we can build studios, probably go out to farms and interview farmers and not just be sitting in my basement, and do bigger things and see how we can go forward. So we just stop being me just talking and being producers and consumers, but being manufacturers of things. Maybe sooner or later you guys will see Nduna feeds hitting a shelf somewhere. But only God knows. But I just want to say thank you very much, guys, for all the support over the years. And I just want to remind you guys to hit that sharp button and hit that bell and turn on your bell notification to be notified of future uploads. With that said, I just want to say bye for now.